Over the past week, the increasingly connected worlds of social media, crypto, and politics have all made it into the headlines. And joining us right now is our friend, Rubicon Digital Asset CEO and NYU professor Greg Johnson, to break all of this down for us. So, Greg, let's start with the recent arrest in France of Pavel Durov, the founder and CEO of social media giant Telegram. What can you tell us about what's going on here?
Well, this is a name you better get used to hearing a lot more about, and always good to be with you, Jonathan. The simple fact of the matter is that for many people, they'd be surprised to learn that Telegram actually has more than 1 billion users. It's one of the fastest growing global social media platforms on the planet. And this young fellow has been likened to the Russian Mark Zuckerberg. In fact, he's actually like that comments himself, that comparison. But this entrepreneur created this Telegram platform using highly sophisticated encryption. Well, last week, while making a routine visit to France for business purposes, he was met on the tarmac by federal agents of the French police, and he's been incarcerated and is staying in France indefinitely. And basically what the French have been arguing is that as the CEO, as the founder of Telegram, he is responsible for something we've heard before here in the United States, content moderation. And what the French are arguing is that he has allowed far too much criminal activity to take place on the Telegram platform, ignoring many of the inquiries by the French government and the law enforcement community to tighten up that bad acting, that criminal activity. And so he was arrested, and it has sent shockwaves across the world. Everyone from the likes of Elon Musk to the Russian government, to oppressive regimes, and to those that are champions of free speech have been protesting this arrest in Paris.
You know, Greg, as you also shared with us before, the crypto industry really playing a huge role here in the U.S. in the elections in 2024. Can you tell us more about the Trump family's controversial world of Liberty Financial Project that was actually just announced, and former President Trump's response last week to make the United States the crypto capital of the planet?
When you said huge, you weren't kidding. You know, last election cycle, presidentially speaking, the crypto industry was a rounding error in terms of the amount of donations to candidates, both at the top of the ticket and then down ballot. And Jonathan, this year already, the crypto industry is the largest lobby supporting or trying to support candidates at the top of the election and throughout the entire cycle. As a matter of fact, crypto has donated more than big oil and big tech combined this election season. So it's quite a turnaround.
For sure.
The Trump family has long been talking about this notion of creating a DeFi platform. In other words, a decentralized option that they would own. And why this is raising a lot of concerns is that the former President Trump has, over the past year, done a 180. We've talked about this at 11 Alive, done a 180 on his policies on crypto. He once was somebody who thought all crypto was nothing more than a scam. This year, he has had an about face and is promising sweeping reforms, if elected, that would make the U.S. as in his words, the crypto capital of the planet. Now, as you might imagine, if his family is operating a crypto DeFi business, many people in government and other watchdog groups are concerned about the obvious conflicts of interest. Elsewhere in the political front on crypto, the Crypto for Harris group has launched, trying to define whether or not Vice President Harris's campaign is going to come out as strongly with a position on crypto. And in fact, a major fundraiser has been planned here in Atlanta at the Atlanta Blockchain Center for the Harris campaign, looking for support later in the month of September. So it's been a busy time for crypto and politicians, to say the least.
Before you go, can you share an update to a story that 11 Alive brought our viewers just months ago about a Georgia-based businessman who is still being jailed in Nigeria?
Well, this is a sad way to end the segment, but it's unfortunately what is taking place. This local businessman, Tigran Gambaryan, was a decorated, retired IRS law enforcement agent and is credited with much of the early major busts on bad criminal actors around the world. And after leaving his government service, he worked for the largest crypto company at the time called Binance. And they've been all over the headlines for all the wrong reasons. And this person was brought in to clean up their compliance and regulatory activities. When traveling to Nigeria early this year in January, he was detained, has been arrested. When we brought this story to you 3 months ago, it was already a bad situation because of the health status of this gentleman. And most recently, yesterday at a court appearance, it is absolutely blowing up across the World Wide Web right now and going viral. He is in such decline, it's very, very concerning. So despite some of the initial diplomatic efforts, despite some of the efforts on Capitol Hill, this gentleman, this American, this businessman, this former U.S. law enforcement agent remains detained in declining health and is being refused appropriate medical care by all accounts, unfortunately.
Greg Johnson, our Atlanta contact for all things crypto. It's always good to have you here. Thanks so much.
It's great to be with you.